Bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite, buongiorno, buonasera, dzień dobry, dobry wieczór i jak działa, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be. Jay Slater case. Chosen background of the evening is Debbie Duncan. And if I move my fat head out of the way, you can see she is pointing. Pointing to what? I don't know. Pointing to the distance, pointing maybe to the sea, in a pose that looks remarkably similar to when Chris Pennington was pointing to the sea up on the edge of the road, looking down the ravine, speculating, pure speculation without any evidence whatsoever that, well, Jay must have just blundered through all the thick vegetation, the cacti, the loose rock, on his 11-hour quest to get back to Los Cristianos because taking the bus just wasn't worth it. Yeah, so there we have Debbie Duncan. Now it looks like she's pointing to my inner ear, but no, pointing to the sea, I would imagine. Mimicking, possibly because she had been by that stage totally brainwashed by the misinformation, disinformation, and total bullshit of the clown duo known as Dumb and Dumber, Lovelace and Pennington. That's the way I see it. But I digress. The point of this video is we are going to start to dissect what is an absolutely fascinating post by Lord Lugworm from yesterday, in which Lord Lugworm tries to explain for the first time, despite him saying that he said this before, he hasn't, trying to explain for the very first time why Lucy, Brandon, Brad, Ayub, Rocky, Josh Forshaw, why none of them, not one single one of them, went to find Jay when Jay was wandering around just off the road from Santiago del Teide up to Buena Vista del Norte. Why did none of them go? Now, before we get into this, I think it's, first of all, very, very important to ask ourselves the question, why would anyone, whether it be Pillow Talk with Uncle Ivor, whether it be the friends, whether it be you and me, why would anyone believe a single word that Liar Lucy ever says? Especially in the Jay Slater case. Her track record for telling the truth is appalling. If you remember Lucy's first written statement on this matter, all that preamble to the GoFundMe, when Lucy's trying to explain the facts of the matter, just to remind the accident group in particular, and Debbie, I don't think Debbie's at the point now, you can see that visage there is, to me, total brainwashed look. That's no longer Debbie Duncan thinking through things reasonably and logically. That is Debbie mimicking someone that has put ideas in her head. To my knowledge, to my mind, that is what I see there. So I think Debbie Duncan's a lost cause. We'll keep trying to fight to bring her mind back, but maybe Warren, Zach's a lost cause too. Warren, if you're watching this, please listen carefully. Why would anyone believe Liar Lucy? Going back to the GoFundMe, Jay, a phone call from Jay awoke me at 8:30 in the morning. That was a lie. It was a lie because a lie is something you know is untrue the moment you say it. The moment that Lucy wrote that on the GoFundMe, she knew she was not woken up by Jay, phone call from Jay at 8:30. She knew that the first call that came through was from Brandon. Now, we've had this pathetic argument put out there. Oh, but she'd just woken up, says Lord Lugworm. Oh, Dr. Dearden says, people make mistakes when they're confused and they're in panic and, you know, they are discombobulated. It's understandable she would mistake her business partner, Chubby Brandon, with the guy that eventually died, Jay. Yeah, at 8:30, she got confused. Now she's thinking, as she writes the GoFundMe, this isn't at the moment she's woken up. A few days later, when this GoFundMe is being written, and Liar Lucy has a chance to check her phone call record, and she's had a chance to think, who was it that woke me up with that first phone call? Brandon or Jay? I get them so confused. Which one is Brandon? Which one is Jay? Oh, I can't remember. What does it matter? It's just a GoFundMe where I'm appealing to the public to donate. It doesn't really matter if I tell a bunch of lies. Well, of course, Lucy knew who it was, but she lied. She said Jay called her at 8:30, and that's what woke her up. Lie number one. Why would you believe Lucy from that point on? She lied. She knows it. Everyone knows it. We've just got this small band of deluded and very dim low-level thinkers that want to keep believing Lucy is telling the truth. She isn't. She never did. She never will. Lie number two, of course, the obvious one. Jay went off with some strangers, men he'd met that night. A lie, because at the moment Lucy said that in the GoFundMe, she knew exactly who Ayub was, exactly who Rocky was. She knew that Jay knew exactly who they were. They'd been together for at least those 3 days in Tenerife. Possibly before then they knew each other. But at least those 3 days in Tenerife, they were very much known to each other. Lucy lied again. Do we need to go any further? I mean, throughout that GoFundMe statement, Lucy is lying over and over again. I suppose if she's talking about herself, remember, I decided to go home early, alone. Really? So when it's 4 or 5 in the morning and you're running around to Magic Mike's to pick up your phone, food, and trying to find Jay, that's your definition of going home early and alone? It's another lie. So without going into any great detail, just off the top of my head here, just off the top of my head, I'm telling you, these are examples of blatant lies. They're not made in panic conditions. She's had time to reflect and check and verify and get her story straight and right and honest. She's had all the time in the world to get that right. And she lies, lies, lies over and over again. So my question to Liar Ivor is, why would you believe a single word Lucy tells you when she's recalling what happened on that fateful morning? Given Lucy's track record of lying in the GoFundMe, why do you believe when she talks to you, Uncle Ivor, that she's telling the truth? The obvious truth here is that no one sane in this world would believe anything that Lucy says. That doesn't mean you would automatically disbelieve everything Lucy says, but you have no reason to believe it. So when Ivor writes page after page after page relating what Lucy told him and telling us it must be the truth, Liar Ivor is an absolute fool or a charlatan. He's just pretending that he has faith in what Lucy says. What do you think that Lucy has on Liar Ivor? Because every time you mention Lucy and her lies and her role in all this, we get pages and pages of defense, as if Uncle Ivor's life depended on it. What is going on between these two? Let's move on. So, point number one, as Liar Ivor is relating what Liar Lucy has said, the question is, why should we believe anything Lucy says? Why should we believe anything Lucy told Ivor? Why should we believe anything Ivor then tells us? There is no reason to believe it. And Liar Ivor says, even though we have been through this before, meaning the whole story about the friends not going to rescue Jay, he says, even though we've been through this before, they, foul play group, they think 2 years later is time to rise that BS again. I think he means raise. Yeah? So Liar Ivor is saying, yeah, 2 years later, it's time to raise that BS again. It's not a question of 2 years later raising this question of why the friends didn't go to save Jay. I think it's a question of that being raised until we get a reasonable answer. So whether it's 2 days after, 2 months after, 2 years after, 20 years after it actually happened, Liar Ivor, until we get a satisfactory and believable answer, this question is going to be raised over and over and over again. And the reason you've had to respond, Ivor, is because of the pressure on you to actually say something that makes sense. You failed. You've said absolute nonsense, twaddle, and lies again. But the reason you had to say something is because we keep asking. And we will keep asking forevermore until we get the truth. We haven't had the truth yet. So it may be that you have to go through this, I don't know, in 3 years, in 4 years, in 5 years, in 6 years' time, Liar Ivor. Until we get the truth, this question will be raised over and over again. Yeah. But the thing is, Liar Ivor, you never did answer the question. This is the very first time, even though you claim you've been through this many times, you haven't. This is the very first time you dropped the bombshell, the absolute jaw dropper, that the friends did not go to Rescue J because they were ordered by the Guardia Civil not to go there. It's the first time you've said that. It's the first time anyone said that. Now, you might be confused, Liar Ivor. You might be thinking, because you've rammed that over and over and over again into Debbie's head, yeah, poor Debbie here, here she is, trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, you've rammed it into her head over and over again, but you've forgotten, you haven't told anyone else about this Guardia Civil order. Do not go and rescue your friend. Yeah. But let's get into a little bit of the actual language. And that is difficult. When you're analyzing what Liar Ivor actually says, there's a certain amount of guesswork, and there's always debate what he actually means. Why is Liar Ivor's writing so ambiguous? It's because he writes English as if it were his second language. Or, to be honest, I've got students, and I've had students, where English is their maybe third language, and they write a lot better than this professor at Pisspot University. So here we go. Liar Ivor says, did all know they put the phone down on Lucy many times? Now, did all know sounds like it should be a question. Did you mean this, Liar Ivor? Did you mean, did they all know that they put the phone down on Lucy many times? Question mark. Because when you start with did, usually a question, but I don't see any question mark there. Or did you mean to say they all did know that they put the phone down on Lucy many times? Now, you don't say who they is. I'm guessing you mean the Guardia Civil because later on you say Guardia Civil, but I'm not sure. So here's a tip, Liar Ivor. Instead of just saying they, specify who exactly you mean. Let's go, for the sake of argument, that Professor at Pisspot University, Lord Lugworm, actually meant to say they all did know that they, the Guardia Civil, put the phone down on Lucy many times. No. This is Lucy's word, remember, Liar Ivor. So we don't know anything. In fact, if it's Lucy's word, I would severely doubt that Lucy's telling the truth and that they didn't put the phone down on her at all. So no, we don't know anything. And there's nothing you can say if you're reporting what Lucy told you that will convince us, unless it makes sense. It doesn't make sense, Liar Ivor, that you call the emergency number in Spain and they put the phone down on you. It doesn't make sense to me. But this is what you say. You say the sixth time, count it, the sixth time, they said, I guess it's Guardia Civil, that they sending a helicopter. Again, if this was a child, I don't know, 7, 8 years old, they said they sending a helicopter. You'd have to correct that with a big, red pen and say, it's not good English. They said they were going to send a helicopter. They said they are sending a helicopter. They said they had sent a helicopter. What do you mean, Liar Ivor? They said they sending a helicopter. Told her to sit tight. They told her to sit tight. Okay. Was this conversation with your gal Lucy, Guardia Civil talking to your gal Lucy, is this conversation in Spanish or in English? That's the first question. Is your gal Lucy, basically lives in Tenerife, finished a, what was it, travel and tourism course? You'd have thought she could speak pretty good Spanish by now. Is this all in Spanish, Liar Ivor? Or is this happening in English? Let us assume, for the sake of argument, this is happening in Spanish. And for the sixth time, Lucy's going, Hola, buenos días. Necesito explicar una cosa. Algo pasó con mi amigo, etc. Is she doing it all in Spanish? Lucy knows how to say in Spanish, or she understands the words sit tight. She knows that phrase in Spanish? Wow. I don't think so. So let us assume this conversation is in English, but we're waiting for you to explain to us, Liar Ivor. Is this conversation happening in English or Spanish? Let's assume it's in English. How many police officers or operators answering emergency phone number would you say, Liar Ivor, in Spain, know the phrase sit tight? Told her to sit tight. How many Spanish speakers you ever heard use that phrase and know that phrase? Sit tight. Miss, señorita, I think it's better that you sit tight. Sit tight. You sit tight. No. Someone like Noah that has had experience, obviously, living, working in Tenerife, um, and has experience dealing with the police there. Noah will tell you there aren't many that work in that field that actually know the word sit to start with or tight. So let alone this phrase sit tight. This, Liar Ivor, is a totally fabricated conversation. I can assure you, it ain't real. So either you're lying to us, Liar Ivor, entirely possible, or Lucy lied to you, entirely possible. But no one on their sixth call to the police in Spain is hearing some Spanish operator say, I think you should sit tight, sit tight. And Lucy ain't speaking in Spanish saying, oh, mejor que nosotros sit tight. This ain't happening. It's funny. I'm laughing, Liar Ivor, because it's funny to think you think we believe this. I mean, that's the funny bit. It's also funny that you have a few supporters still that think this actually happened. I mean, I'm imagining Peter Pennington sat there going, oh, that's what happened. Oh, Lucy was lied to on the sixth call. Yeah. Told her to sit tight. It's also fascinating that this was the sixth call. The sixth call. So how did it go, Liar Ivor? Here's Lucy on the phone. First call. Emergency services. Yeah, hello, emergency services. I'd like to report my friend missing. They put the phone down on her straight away. They said nothing. You said they put the phone down on her. Put the phone down on her many times. So in the first conversation, how far did Lucy get? I've got a friend. He's missing up in the mountains somewhere, and I think he might die. And the Guardia Civil operator, emergency operator, just puts the phone down. Bloody hell! I'm not going to Spain on holiday again. Got an emergency. Yeah, I have an emergency. A friend of mine's lost in the mountains. I think he's going to die. Click. Phone put down. Okay, this happens. This happens 5 times apparently. 5 times. Lucy's. Yeah, I've got a friend dying in the mountains. Oh, bugger off, will you? Third attempt. Excuse me, I've got a friend that's dying in the mountains. Oh, shove off, will you? Phone goes down 5 times. Fifth time. No, really, really, my friend really is lost and dying in the mountains. Oh, bloody hell. Just go away, will you? Click. 5 times that happens, Liar Ivor says. But the sixth time, different response the sixth time. Sixth time, we get told a helicopter's being sent out. Now, the only explanation I have for this is a change in person responding. I think the operator, emergency services operator, for the first 5 calls is someone that is just having a really bad day. Let's say her name is Patricia. So Patricia can't stand the voice of Liar Lucy, and every time Liar Lucy's on, Patricia's going click, end of call. Um, but the sixth time, Patricia's finished her shift. And let's say, well, I don't know, Manuela. Manuela's a nice operator. When she answers emergency calls, she's actually quite cooperative. Manuela's on duty. The sixth time that Lucy gets through, excuse me, my name's Lucy. It's the sixth time I've called. I have a friend dying in the mountains. Oh, now this time, good old Manuela, who's a bit more humanitarian approached, she goes to the other extreme. She says, no worries. No worries. Don't worry. Don't worry, Miss Lucy. Senorita Lucy, you sit tight. Me, I'm sending the helicopter. Helicopter will find your friend in the mountains. You sit tight. Sixth time was a wonder. Moral of the story, if the police or emergency services operator put the phone on you down on you 5 times, be optimistic. The sixth time there'll be a helicopter sent out. Um, it's almost worth when you really need something from the police, making those 5 calls and putting the phone down yourself, because you know the sixth time you're going to get really good service. Yeah, so the operator says you sit tight, helicopter coming. You don't need to do anything. Yeah, Liar Ivor says civil guard told the friends to stay tight. Oh, that's interesting. Civil guard, Liar Ivor says, told the friends to stay tight. How did they do that, Liar Ivor? Did Manuela, who's now the nice operator, did she say to Lucy, can you give me the phone numbers of all your friends? Because I'm now going to call them individually to tell them to sit tight, helicóptero viene, yeah, helicopter's on the way. Llega el helicóptero, sit tight. So, yeah, you say Civil Guard told the friends to stay tight. So Manuela, she's gone ahead and called Brandon individually, Brad individually, Ayub individually, Rocky. Well, Rocky's fast asleep in the car, so that call didn't work. Sit tight, Rocky, sit tight, helicoptero, sit tight. Oh, you're asleep. Okay. Um, yeah, so Civil Guard, you say, they told the friends to stay tight. All those friends are being called individually and told to stay tight, helicopter going. Or is this what you meant, Liar Ivor? That the Civil Guard told Lucy to tell all her friends to sit tight? Now, this is a bit risky because we have the emergency services operator that ain't that good in English telling Liar Lucy, who's a liar, to tell the friends to sit tight, and expect that to work. Something tells me that didn't happen. This is what Liar Ivor says. Civil Guard told the friends to stay tight. So all the friends figured, get this. So all the friends figured Jay will be back soon in a helicopter of all things. Yeah. That's what I would think. You know, if my friend, you have to paint a grisly picture here. My friend's up in the mountains, lost, got no phone, got no water, stuck in a ditch. Sit tight, sit tight. Yeah, I would think, well, everything's going to be fine. The guy's going to live and be back home in a helicopter. Isn't that how it always works out? No, it doesn't. In fact, this is such a bloody stupid fairy tale. The embarrassing thing is, Liar Ivor has found himself pushed into this corner now where he is the spokesperson. He's chosen to do this, but he's trying to explain something that is inexplicable. Totally inexplicable. The friends didn't go to rescue their poor beloved Jay because on the sixth call, a liar, Lucy, tells a liar, Ivor, that they were all told to sit tight. Now, honestly, if you believe this nonsense, Debbie, there's no hope for you. Accident group, there is no hope for you. This, I can assure you, is absolute twaddle. There's no point asking Liar Ivor to produce any evidence of this. There is none. It's all made up. How do I know that? I know that because not one single person involved in this story has ever mentioned anything, whether it be on social media, whether it be in the inquest under oath, whether it be in the documentary. Not one single person involved in this has ever said that they were told to sit tight, sit tight. And they would have done. They surely would have done. Poor Debbie went out there and said, I just don't understand why Lucy didn't go up there and get to Jay, go to Jay. Liar Ivor thinks that Debbie is now going to believe, after 2 years, the reason no one went to save her poor son was because they were told a helicopter would do it and they have to sit tight. Josh Forshaw never mentioned being told to sit tight. Brandon Hodgson never mentioned he was told to sit tight. Brad Hargreaves did that lengthy interview with Isla. He never mentioned anything about being told to sit tight. The weird thing is, Lucy May Gregory Law, Liar Lucy, she never mentioned at any stage that she was told to sit tight. Ayub Abdul, he never mentioned he was ever told by anyone to sit tight. Ayub Kasim, he never told anyone that he was told to sit down, sit tight, and not go anywhere. Stephen Fortes Roccas was never told that he was told. Stephen Fortes Roccas never said anything because he was asleep the whole time. But even he didn't relate anything about a text message he received from the Guardia Civil saying, sit tight, sit tight. None of these people involved ever mentioned this. It's very, very important information. Why is it that no one went to save Jay? Debbie and Zach arrived Tuesday morning. I've mentioned this before. They were on Tenerife Tuesday morning. Jay could well have been in exactly the same place where he was on Monday morning, waiting for someone to come to him. Was Debbie also told by the Guardia Civil on Tuesday morning, sit tight, sit tight? I don't think so. I think there's another reason none of these people went to rescue Jay. It's finding out that other reason that will solve this case. We march on. Week after week, month after month, year after year, Liar Lucy, Liar Ivor, and Debbie. We march on. Because this latest version offered by Ivor Lovelace is a pack of lies. Everyone knows it. Hasta luego, adios, hasta la próxima. There's a lot more to dig into this. This might go on a while, but this is now the priority, to go through this lying statement and tear it apart for what it is. It's rubbish. Hasta la próxima. See you next time.